Now at 9, a Carl Junction, Missouri man is charged for allegedly shooting another man with a BB/pellet gun. Plus, the Sarcoxy, Missouri police chief resigns after being suspended by the town's mayor. And
the federal indictment unsealed against former President Donald Trump in connection with his handling of classified documents. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with the details on the charges he's facing. Coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. A man is now charged in connection with a BB/pellet gun shooting yesterday afternoon in Carl Junction, Missouri. Authorities charged 38-year-old Douglas Starbuck of Carl Junction with third-degree assault. The court set a $10,000 cash bond. Authorities say a moving company had shown up at Starbuck's house to repossess 2 sheds. They say Starbuck then started an argument with the workers, then went into the house, got a pellet BB pistol, and fired at least 1 shot. The shot hit a worker in the cheek. The worker had non-life-threatening injuries. The Sarcoxy police chief resigns a month after the mayor suspends her for behavior issues. Brandy KOAM announced her resignation on Facebook. The Sarcoxy mayor had suspended KOAM in May for 2 weeks. He says over behavior factors, disobedience, and certain social media posts. KOAM appealed the decision with a large showing of community support, but the city council voted to keep her off the job until May 19th. Now KOAM writes she is resigning the Sarcoxy Police Department for moral and ethical reasons. You can find her entire statement on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Southwest Missouri and statewide leaders mourn the loss of a former politician and community leader. Former Joplin mayor and state lawmaker Ron Richard died today. His time in the state legislature began in 2002, first as state representative and House Speaker, then as state senator representing Jasper, Newton, and Dade counties. He eventually became Senate president. Missouri Governor Mike Parson released a statement saying in part, he continued serving Joplin and Southwest Missouri long after his tenure in state government and will be remembered for his years of committed leadership. Missouri Southern President Dr. Dean Van Galen said, and quote, Senator Ron Richard dedicated his life to public service and is one of the university's most distinguished graduates. Richard was also a member of the Missouri Southern State University's Board of Governors. Ron Richard was a lifelong champion of the university and leaves a tremendous legacy at Missouri Southern. Chief Meteorologist Doug Ketty joins us with the first look at the weather.
Well, it turned out to be a pretty good Friday for us today. We have had some scattered thunderstorms, especially in our southwestern counties as we have gone through the afternoon into the evening hours. 85 for a high, right about where we should be. Normal high is 84 degrees. And you can see those showers, those thunderstorms, mainly along the Kansas-Oklahoma state line. They've been falling apart a little bit over the past hour or two, but still they're going to be scattered as we go through the next couple hours. And then a much bigger batch of showers and thunderstorms building out to our west. Those storms are going to start to roll in very late tonight into the morning hours. So we're going to be quiet, most of us, for the next few hours. And then this big band of showers and thunderstorms, widespread rain is going to, oh my gosh, I almost sneezed. But it's going to start to work in late tonight into tomorrow morning. All right. We'll talk about all the weekend details here in just a bit.
All right. Well, bless you in advance. Kansas health officials have identified a case of Heartland virus disease in Crawford County. Heartland is a tick-borne disease. It is the first case in Crawford County and only the third ever in Kansas. The symptoms of Heartland include fever, fatigue, muscle or joint pain, headache, and occasionally a rash. Experts remind people to take steps to prevent tick bites when outside. The Pittsburgh YMCA today announced the phased reopening of its pool in the wake of a tragedy that took place this week. The Y says for the time being, the pool will be limited to swimming classes and swim team only in order to prioritize both safety and staff well-being. The Y says it intends to expand pool hours as more staff becomes available. On Tuesday, 19-year-old Caden Barber was declared dead after he was found unresponsive in the pool. Dozens of volunteers came today for the Carthage Area United Way's 23rd Annual Day of Caring. KOAM Shagun Bombali has more.
Carthage Area United Way's Day of Caring event saw enthusiastic participation from community members and local companies who volunteered their time to support various non-profit organizations in the area.
A lot of the nonprofits don't have the ability or the manpower to get items knocked off their list of chores to do. And we had 82 volunteers this year, which we split up between 9 different nonprofits to go and do work.
For Sean Pryor, the president of Jasper County Youth Fair Board, he says seeing the volunteers help with different projects is a blessing.
So today, with the Day of Caring, they had a bunch of volunteers come in. We probably had a couple dozen volunteers that showed up just to help us out on projects that we run out of time trying to get everything done throughout the year. Our fair's getting ready to come up here the week after the 4th of July.
Sean says from bush trimming to tree trimming to limb saws, the volunteers did it all.
We've built new window covers to keep people from breaking into the buildings, power wash the concrete so we can seal it. I was impressed this morning, turned around and looked, it was 10 o'clock, and I said, well, man, we've got a lot of work done in 2 hours. So it's just a blessing for them to come out and help us.
As the summer months begin to roll in, residents of Carthage are happy that volunteering opportunities are available for kids and adults.
I think they're happy that we give an opportunity for kids to volunteer, adults, and just seeing that we care about our community and just that we're here for the long term.
In Carthage, Shangbamdele, KOAM News.
8 local companies provided volunteers for the event. Smoke from the Canadian fires is forcing the White House to postpone a big Pride celebration. The event was originally planned for Thursday, but will now be held on Saturday due to air quality issues. Officials call the event the largest Pride celebration in White House history. The celebration coincides with a number of actions the Biden administration is taking to protect the LGBTQ+ community. That includes appointing a new federal coordinator to address the increase in book bans enacted across different states. Federal prosecutors released the details of the charges against former President Donald Trump. It's all in connection with his handling of classified documents discovered at his Mar-a-Lago resort. It also comes as he widens his lead in the Republican presidential primary polls in the race to face President Joe Biden in 2024. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has the details from Washington.
Former President Trump is getting ready to face a federal judge in Florida. He's accused of violating 7 laws in connection to his handling of classified documents.
Special counsel Jack Smith speaking for the first time after a federal grand jury indicted former President Trump on 37 counts, including willful retention of national defense information, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and false statements.
We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
In the unsealed indictment, Trump is accused of improperly storing top-secret documents, quote, in a ballroom, a bathroom and shower and office space, his bedroom, and a storage room. Prosecutors say in July 2021, during a meeting with a writer, publisher, and 2 members of his staff at his Bedminster Club in New Jersey, Trump showed a plan of attack prepared for him by the Department of Defense. Weeks later, Trump showed a representative of his Political Action Committee a classified map related to a military operation.
My office will seek a speedy trial in this matter, consistent with the public interest and the rights of the accused.
A close Trump aide, Walt Nauta, was also charged. Prosecutors allege Nauta, at Trump's direction, moved boxes from a storage room even after receiving a subpoena from a grand jury. Trump is defending Nauta and slamming the probe.
Our country is in decline. We're a failing nation, and this is what they do. I'm an innocent man. We will prove that again.
For his part, President Biden says he has not spoken to Attorney General Merrick Garland and has no comment on the indictment. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll have some ways that parents can promote positive body images for teens. How teens and tweens feel about their bodies can affect their mental health, and experts say this time of the year can be hard on anyone who struggles with the way that they look. Reporter Mandy Gaither has ways parents can promote positive body image this summer.
As the weather warms up, shorts, swimsuits, and other summer clothing come out. For those who struggle with body image, this time of year can be hard.
Adolescence is a period in which our bodies are growing and changing, and it's normal for teens to experience a little bit of that distress or self-consciousness that comes along with those changes.
Social media with filtered pictures and videos can add to poor body image, says psychologist Erin McTiernan with Nationwide Children's Hospital.
Kids can often be making comparisons to things that are just really unrealistic and unattainable.
That's why McTiernan says not to focus on weight, instead zero in on overall health, being active in a way that's enjoyable, and eating a variety of foods throughout the day. Since kids can take their cues from adults, especially parents, McTiernan says it's also important to model positive body image.
It's important for parents to understand how they feel about their own bodies and make sure that they're talking about themselves and their bodies in a way that they would want their kids to talk about themselves as well.
Finally, focus on all the positive traits and qualities in your child that have nothing to do with their appearance.
It brings out that self-confidence in a way that can sometimes overshadow just what they look like on the surface.
Lesbian, gay, and bisexual people are more than twice as likely to experience suicidal thoughts compared to heterosexual people. A study published in the Social Psychiatry and Psychiatric Epidemiology surveyed 10,000 adults and found lesbian, gay, and bisexual individuals were also more likely to experience depression and anxiety. Researchers say discrimination and bullying are likely at least partly to blame. You may have never heard of it, but the sport of pickleball is gaining popularity. The paddle sport combines elements of tennis, badminton, and ping pong. It provides physical health benefits as well as mental health benefits. Because pickleball is not a solitary sport, the social aspect of the game comes into play, reducing isolation and creating relationships. The Association of Pickleball Professionals says there are currently 36.5 million Americans playing the sport. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, Joplin High School announces the new head coach of its boys basketball team.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a decent Friday for us today. Partly sunny skies across the region. It was warm once again as we went into the mid-80s for afternoon highs. And we do have some showers and thunderstorms across portions of the four-state area, but most of us are going to be dry as we go through the night. We'll start to see some changes moving in later on tonight. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, temperatures, most of us kind of low to mid 70s, 71 in Anderson, still 77 in Pittsburgh, 72 in Bonita. Nevada is sitting at about 75. We can go outside. Here's 7th. Here's Rangeline sitting at 76. Southerly winds 5 to 10. Visibility is good at about 10 miles across the region. Now, look at the showers. Look at the thunderstorms, especially along the Kansas and Oklahoma state line, but they are kind of falling apart just a bit over the past couple hours. But let's go ahead and zoom in. So we're going to go south of Independence over toward Coffeyville, Caney, down toward Nowata, just to the west of Bonita. But this cluster is kind of falling apart and will continue to do so over the next couple hours. And then we're going to focus on this big band of showers and thunderstorms out across central Kansas. That whole band is going to head toward us late tonight into the morning hours for us tomorrow. All right, let's go through time. Bands of showers and thunderstorms pushing in 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Could have some stronger storms, may even have a few low-grade severe storms. Periods of showers and thunderstorms continue. The heaviest looks to be in the southern half of the region. Here's 8:30 in the morning. Periods of showers and thunderstorms. Heaviest roll out by 11 or noon. I still think we'll have some scattered showers out there early afternoon, and then the rest of the day looks pretty good. So here's 5 p.m. We rebound back into the lower 80s for afternoon highs. Then we do it again. Watch this. Tomorrow night, we're going to go to about midnight. Bands of showers and thunderstorms move in again. Some of these could be strong, possibly low-grade severe. So strong thunderstorms into Sunday morning, and then most of Sunday looks pretty good. We could get some pop-up scattered thunderstorms once we get into the afternoon, but most of our thunderstorms over the weekend are going to be late night and morning storms across the area. Plus, we're going to cool down a bit. Highs only right around 80 as we head into Sunday. Cold front drops through, so a little bit cooler. We drop into the upper 50s by the time we head into Monday morning. Day planner, morning storms, a break, a few isolated late, high temp, only 82, so a little bit cooler. Look at rainfall amounts. At least most of us are going to get something out of this system, but over the next 2 days, I think heaviest amounts right along that Kansas-Oklahoma state line. A lot of areas are going to get 1, maybe upwards to 2 inches of rain, which, hey, we definitely need. 82 tomorrow, 80 on Sunday, 79, very comfortable on Monday. Chances for showers and thunderstorms once again Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as we slowly start to warm things back up next week.
Seeing a 79 and, some mid 70s in the forecast, and then seeing some 90s down the road, it's just like, encapsulates four-state weather.
Yeah, it really does, all over the place.
All right, thank you, Doug. Scientists are trying to turn the tide on the destruction of coral reefs by caring for damaged corals in nurseries that help them recover and regrow. Conservationists heading up the restoration efforts in the United Arab Emirates says corals that were once bleached are becoming big and healthy again and can be moved back to their original reefs to keep thriving. Bleaching events are happening more frequently around the world as waters warm due to climate change. Coming up, we'll hear from some financial experts about how you can save some money during summer vacations. New data showing air travel has largely rebounded and soaring towards pre-pandemic levels. That's despite high inflation and higher interest rates weighing on consumer spending. We have 5 expert tips on how you can save money while planning your summer getaway.
Higher costs impact airports, not keeping Americans from flying to their summer vacations this 2023. According to the International Air Transport Association, 4.35 billion people will travel by air this year, not far off the 4.54 billion passengers who flew in 2019.
Travel today looks much more like it did in 2019 than it has any of the past 3 years.
So what can you do to make your summer vacay more affordable?
I wouldn't push your luck. I certainly wouldn't wait until the last minute.
Travel expert Scott Keyes has these tips to help you save money while planning your travel. 1. Flexibility is key. Consider flying on weekdays or less popular travel days when demand is lower. That's when airlines often offer discounted fares.
Try to book your flight during what I call a Goldilocks window.
He says that's 1 to 3 months in advance for off-peak months or 3 to 7 months for peak times. 2. Set fare alerts. You can sign up to get them from your favorite airlines or price comparison websites. They track the prices of your desired flights and notify you when prices drop. 3. Explore different airports. Sometimes nearby airports offer better deals.
Getting a little bit creative can sometimes lead to some pretty substantial savings.
4. Travel light and pack smart. Skip checking bags to avoid extra fees. And finally, reconsider expensive hotels. Explore vacation rentals, guest houses, or hostels.
For those of you not traveling through the air, I've got good news for you for those traveling on the ground. Despite high demand, gas prices are holding steady for now. According to the Energy Information Administration, for the first time since 2021, domestic gasoline demand was over 9 million barrels daily for a third straight week, but gas prices barely budged, thanks to the low cost of oil. In fact, the national average for a gallon of gas dipped a penny since last week to $3.56 a gallon. Up next, spicy food lovers have a chance to earn money for trying Schlotzsky's. We'll have the details. A fast food chain is letting customers stuff their faces and their pockets to promote its new spicy food. Schlotzsky's is looking for one couple to test its new spicy food lineup during the month of August. The winners will provide feedback and recommendations on the spicy lineup. They will receive a compensation package of $15,000, a trip to the company's headquarters, a $500 Schlotzsky's gift card, and a $1,500 Schlotzsky's gift cards to share with family and friends. I may have to take a month off and participate in that. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. A brewery based in Alba, Missouri is celebrating its 3rd anniversary and being named the best brewery in the state. Plus, how the Pittsburgh Public Library is using cute animals to get kids more interested in reading.
Well, it turned out to be a decent Friday for us today. Partly sunny skies, also some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region. Most of us look pretty good, but still, even a few scattered thunderstorms out there for us right now. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, temperatures, most of us sitting low to mid 70s, 75 in Iola, 73 in Nowata, Pittsburgh 76, Grand Lake, if you're heading down there, sitting at 72, Stockton on the other end 73, Cassville at 70 degrees, and most of us will drop back mid 60s a little bit later on tonight. At the airport in Joplin, sitting at 76, southerly winds are light at about 5 to 10. And you can see the showers and thunderstorms that we've had out there over the past several hours, but also kind of dying. Not near as strong as what we saw earlier this evening, but still we have some moderate showers, mainly south of Independence, over toward Coffeyville, Nowata, clustered near Veneta. We can track a little bit farther toward the east, over toward Grand Lake J, and then the town of Kansas in southern parts of Delaware County. Everybody else pretty much dry across the region until you find this big band of showers and thunderstorms, some severe thunderstorms out across central parts of Kansas. And this big batch is going to head toward us as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. It's not going to make it here for a while, but we'll start to get some scattered thunderstorms in here late tonight. Here's 5 a.m., bands of showers, thunderstorms driving through the region, some heavy amounts of rain, especially through the morning. So here's about 8 or 9 a.m. Once we get to about 11 or noon, heaviest rain is going to be pushing out of the region. So if you're heading to Table Rock or Beaver Lake, it's going to be wet until noon, 1 or 2, and then we'll start to clear out. The rest of the afternoon looks pretty good. We sit into lower 80s for afternoon highs, and then as we go into tomorrow night, we're going to be watching an additional band, showers, thunderstorms driving in. And once again, some of these could be strong, maybe even low-grade severe as they make it here tomorrow night into Sunday morning. So here's 3 a.m. on Sunday, periods of showers, thunderstorms to start the day on Sunday. And then I think by mid-morning, we look pretty good. But as we get a cold front that shifts through, a few scattered thunderstorms trying to pop up late in the day on Sunday. And then we clear out, cool down as we start the work week. In fact, we start Monday into the upper 50s, so quite a bit cooler across the region. All right, day planner for you, scattered morning thunderstorms, a break, a few popping up late. High temp, right around 82. Rainfall amounts with our batch late tonight, tomorrow morning, and the batch tomorrow night into Sunday. Everybody across the region should get some rain, which we need. Some areas 1 to 2 inches, a little bit heavier right along the Kansas and Oklahoma state line. 82 tomorrow, 80 on Sunday, 79 cooler on Monday, looks pretty good. 83 on Tuesday. Let's go back to 85 on Wednesday. Some hit and miss storms Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Some of those could be kind of strong, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that. And then clearing out for next weekend.
Yeah, hopefully in terms of, danger, it's pretty low, but in terms of the rainfall, I know that we need it for a lot of parts in the area. All right, thank you, Doug.
Yep.
The smoke is slowly moving west after days of lingering over major American cities like New York, Washington, and Philadelphia. Fox News correspondent Katie Byron has more from Atlantic City.
After 2 days of smoky haze and orange skies, most of the Northeast is breathing easier on Friday. Winds blowing much of the smoke from Canada's wildfires to the west out of cities like New York and Washington, which recorded hazardous air quality readings for much of the past 48 hours. Those schools in New York and Philadelphia went virtual on Friday out of an abundance of caution. Most doctors say we're not out of the woods yet.
Anytime there's inflammation or irritation that narrows the airway because of the swelling, that causes difficulty breathing. Wearing a mask at this point is really important.
While the skies are still smoky in some areas along the I-95 corridor, the highest concentrations today are in parts of the upper Midwest and Ohio Valley, with some experts now warning of more air quality issues in the coming months, especially out west.
This is just a precursor. We've had a very, very wet winter in the West, and I expect that we're going to have a very, very significant
fire season.
And of course, all of this smoke is pouring south from Quebec, where almost 100 wildfires continue to burn with little relief in sight. Several towns have already been evacuated, and residents elsewhere are now preparing in case they're told to leave as well.
We're not happy about the situation. We're hoping to tell Quebecers that they will be able to going back home, but in the short term, it won't be possible.
Forecasters say a new wind pattern expected this weekend will help thin out the remaining smoke. In Atlantic City, Katie Byrne, Fox Weather.
Coming up in sports, Oklahoma softball plays for a national championship. Plus, Joplin High School finds its new head basketball coach. John Dale says those stories and more after the break.
Hey, and welcome into sports. I'm John Dales. Joplin boys basketball has found its new head man. Nick Pfeiffer, who coached the Eagles' freshman team last year, is now the varsity head coach, the school announced today. Pfeiffer says the school and the city has really grown on him.
This will be my second year here, so Coach Shockey, the previous coach, kind of brought me in last year to help with the freshmen. And, I've just really kind of fell in love with the job and Joplin. I'm originally from Carthage, but just coming over here and getting to work with some really great teachers and coaches and administrators, and then most certainly the players. And that's something I'm really excited about.
Over to college softball. Even if you haven't paid attention to this sport all season, you likely may have heard about the Oklahoma Sooners and their dominance over everybody else in the country. OU clinches its third consecutive national championship with a 3-1 win over Florida State last night. And to put into perspective just how good the Sooners have been, they lost a game to Baylor way back in February. From that point on, Oklahoma rattled off 53 wins in a row, culminating in its 6th national championship in the past decade. Back locally, the Joplin Outlaws are in the midst of a long 7-game road trip. 2 games into it, Joplin's got 1 win and 1 loss. Nearing the conclusion of tonight's contest in St. Joseph against the Mustangs, and just not Joplin's night. Losing 8-1 in the 7th inning, Outlaws scored the first run of the game, but St. Joseph rattled off the next 8, including 3 in the bottom of the 5th. No rest for the Outlaws. They continue their road trip tomorrow at Florinda. In pro baseball, Royals couldn't get it done on the road, falling to Baltimore 3-2. Starting pitcher David Lynch allowed 2 runs in the first 2 innings, settled down after that, but damage was already done. Royals have now lost their last 5 road games and have a 9-22 record away from Kauffman Stadium. Things look much more promising for the Cardinals, though. The Redbirds currently lead the Reds 7-4. A trio of players have hit home runs for the Cardinals: Nolan Arenado, Jordan Walker, and Nolan Gorman. Jordan Montgomery is in line for the win. If this score holds, he threw 6 scoreless on the mound.
Awesome. As for the Oklahoma Sooners, there's very few teams that you could compare them to in softball in terms of dominance, but let alone in all of sports. 53 straight wins, that's unheard of.
It's unheard of, and the fact that this is 3 championships in a row. So yeah, really dominant this season, but there's players that are juniors and seniors on that team that all they know is winning championships.
Oh yeah, for sure, and they're probably going to continue it in the near future. That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this. A lack of water is making it harder for farmers in the Southwest to do their jobs. Fox's Ashley Soriano reports from Casa Grande, where a 93-year-old farm is doing what it can to stay in business.
Food grows where water flows. That's the slogan here at Kaywood Farms. They're spreading that message through farm tours and visits to Washington, D.C., that there's only so much water to go around.
This is the lifeblood of our farm. This is what carries the water to us. And so what's currently happening, these canals have been completely dry for 6 months at a time because of the drought. So it's so nice to see water in it.
The 5th generation owners of Kaywood Farms, about 40 miles south of Phoenix, say they're worried about water. The Southwest has been in a mega drought for decades.
I remember my granddad talking about drought, but that was never bad enough to where it didn't support them on this farm. And I don't recall him just, experiencing the mega drought that we've experienced.
They pay for water from the Gila River and Coolidge Dam. They also rely on rain, which has been scarce for years.
There were a few of those periods in the early 80s and the late 1990s where we had 6 out of 10 years in a decade saw really wet conditions, and we haven't seen that in a long time.
Okay, so this is fallow. This is 80 acres that we leave fallow because of the lack of water.
The Kaywood family decided to stop planting cotton and to instead harvest quicker growing crops like silage corn, barley, and oats, which use less water.
Food grows where water flows. The fact that my granddad bought this farm in 1930, we don't want to lose it. We want to keep farming it and keep up our family tradition.
Meanwhile, in Phoenix, just north of here, the Arizona governor announced that construction on new homes that rely on groundwater would not be approved. In Casa Grande, Arizona, Ashley Soriano, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll meet two pups that prove nothing can come between their friendship, not even a wall. Workers at a Minneapolis animal shelter were surprised when a cement wall wasn't enough to keep a pair of pups apart. Reporter Kristen Mitchell has the story of a powerful friendship among man's best friend.
Me and another employee were walking through the kennels, and we walked by and we had to triple take what's going on, because two pitties came to the front of a kennel to greet us, and we were like, what?
Security camera footage cracked the case.
We knew that they had to be together.
Brenda climbed her way over the wall to join her pal Linda.
We rewatched the video that we have, and I about died. I was like, this is truly magnificent.
The pair came in as strays to Minneapolis Animal Care and Control 2 weeks ago, where the shelter has been near capacity. All while they say adoptions are down and surrenders are up 20% from 2022, which was a record-setting year.
I would say the majority of our cases are due to housing. So either people moving away, moving into places that don't allow specific breeds. We're seeing people experiencing homelessness that didn't before and are just in hard times.
Surrenders aren't the biggest challenge at the Animal Humane Society. It's a shortage of vet techs.
We probably have about 2/3 of our vet tech staffing compared to what we had pre-pandemic for the same number of buildings, which means we can't help the same number of animals.
Large dog adoptions have slowed some too, part of a trend seen nationwide.
We all heard of the COVID dog, COVID puppy, and potentially if everyone who was thinking of adopting a dog in the next few years got them at the beginning of COVID, you're going to see those adoption numbers spike, and you got to see them drop before they level out again.
At MAC, there's no fee for adopting dogs 7 months or older.
We know it's not going to be easy to find them placement together, but we would love it if we could.
So consider Linda and Brenda a package deal.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. That's our time for all. Well, but before you go, we'll leave you with a video of polar bear sisters at a zoo in Washington. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. See you then.